Guru Kripa Kevalam. Namaste and welcome everyone to Satsang today. Sadguru Shri Muji Baba ki Jai.
Jai.
Okay. Let's go to Bodhi Tara.
Thank you. Thank you very much. Mm. 2 days ago, I put the nicotine patches on to just get off the nicotine addiction. It's been done before. It's not
The audio was not so clear, my dear. Could you repeat what you said? 2 days ago, what happened?
I took I put the nicotine patches on.
I see. I see.
To quit vaping. And it happened naturally. And maybe the trigger was that in last Satsang, I always turn off the camera and then have a quick one and then go back to Satsang.
Mm-hmm.
And you said you don't worry or you don't mind the actions of body. Can you hear well?
Yes, yes.
But it was like there is love, you know, love.
Yes.
Not the I don't want any chemicals that play so nasty.
Yes.
That used to cover all violence and all of that, and connected with the belief.
Yes.
To cover the beautiful light of the true self.
Yes.
So Eva, I love you so much.
Oh, I love you.
I'm so grateful to the Sangha because that is my home. Yeah. And it would be much nicer to bring lots of flowers to your feet, but this is that is placed to your feet, to your grace, and no matter what the body does, when it's time to go, it will go. There's not really, you know, there is it's been troubling me all life, because this nicotine was like my friend, wrong friend, looking at it from wrong place.
Yes.
But it was also connected with the body that was fighting to protect not only myself but others, and so on. That's the narrative that is wasting of time.
No, good. It's good. So I want to say a few things about this, because this is how grace works. Just few minutes before coming to Satsang, I advised another friend that they should stop smoking weed, especially if they're going to come to the light of God. Then I feel like that sacrifice is the least among the sacrifices we can make, but it can feel like a lot if you're addicted to it or if you're used to it. So I'm so happy to hear this report that although I rarely ever comment on the outward functioning of this body, and it's really about the open and empty. But sometimes, uh, it's good to really take a stand in our heart and say, no, this is not serving me. This is not helping me. And anything that prevents you from being completely sober in satsang, you see, is not in service to you. So satsang should make you high, high enough.
It does.
You see?
It does.
So I'm very happy that you've taken this step, and I'm fully with you in this. And all my support, all my blessings are there that you get through with this fully. There have been a few examples already of those who are coming to satsang and they used to smoke a lot and things, and they just fell away in some sense. So it is my blessing that the same happens here as well. It's very
Thank
good.
you. May I say something?
Yes, of course.
What mind does is that it's saying there is it's bringing the like a chemical nastiness
Yes.
to that feels whole body and psychic.
Yes.
It's more psychological mind than the normal mind, because intellect can play with it, but the true self,
Yes.
there is no addiction.
Yes.
So if there is any it feels like I would like to ask for your help to look at this.
Yes. Yes.
And just how to say that, to look through the belief and just dissolve that, because it doesn't. But I know it's mind saying it doesn't exist, but also it doesn't exist. There is enough of power. There is Sadgurus here, so nothing is stronger than the light. So if you could guide me into that.
Yes. Very good. So if I heard the question correctly, really the mind can play this trick, and I'm very glad that you are spotting it. You see? So either way, the mind can say, but the self is not touched by this. You see? But the self is not touched by this aspect of consciousness being in heaven or hell either. You see? The self, the true self, the absolute, is untouched by it. But consciousness playing in these ways, you see, comes to satsang because they experience the hell of a human existence, which is mind oppressed. You see, they experience the hell of the human experience under the slavery of the head, and you want to be free from that mental oppression, and that is the heaven that is possible to you, because in consciousness's amazing design of this Maya, in consciousness's amazing design of this Leela, in the hypnosis of the highest, of the biggest addiction that we have, which is the addiction to the mind, in the hypnosis of the mind, our true self seems to get blurred, only seems to, but that seems to is hell. You see? Hell is only a seeming. So we come to satsang because we want to be free from that, and we want to live in God's house, which is your heart, which is your presence. So I'm very glad that you can see through these tricks of the mind, which will say, yeah, but but the true self is not affected. But the true self is not affected if you go through a million lifetimes of hell also. You see, for the true self, it is not. You see, so we come to satsang as consciousness, speaking with consciousness, reminding ourselves that you as consciousness does not have to have this hellish experience in the human condition. You see? So very good. The mind will throw all these things at you. It will say, but what's the need? In reality, nothing is changing. But in reality, nothing has ever changed. You see? So why don't we go to a pub instead of satsang every Friday for some of you morning? But this is Friday evening. Pub key pub time in Bangalore. You see? So why do we come here instead of that? Because the true self is not affected. So satsang is so that a living consciousness, you see, a breathing consciousness realizes its reality of the unchanging self. You see? Instead of identifying with the comfortable hell of individuality. So this is very, very good. So really all these things which can make us suffer in the human condition, we must throw them to the fire. We must throw them into the fire of our surrender. And this is what I mean by you must die to yourself. You must die to yourself while you are living, so that you can experience the living hell, the living heaven, while in the waking state. So very good. You can spot the trickster with its tricks. You can spot. In fact, you spot it as the mind, and then you know that it is not trying to help me. It is pointing to what you need to sacrifice, you see, instead of what you need to embrace.
It's like when the mind is saying whatever is said, it's not that.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And you can test it out. You can test it out, the nature of the mind. So I've been saying this, that if I said to you, don't think of a sunset, you see, then immediately the mind produces the image of a sunset. I say, don't think of the famous example, pink elephant, and immediately the mind produces that. So if this is the kind of friend that the mind can be, which is the opposite of what we want, you see, then how come we go to it for advice in terms of guidance of the truth when it is opposing us in the simplest request? Don't think of an orange or a banana. Start thinking of that. So what kind of friend is it? It is showing you defiance immediately. It is showing you the opposite of what you want immediately. So if you want God, it is not at all intelligent to go to the mind for advice. You see, if you want to experience your true self, if you want to live in God's presence, it is not at all advisable to go to this one who is the voice of individuality, of difference. Very good. So very good. Keep smelling it out like that. You see, in the same way that you can smell the mind and say, I see you, I see you, this is the mind. In the same way, you can also smell for the call from your heart, where you know that you are timeless, where you know that you are the unborn, where you know auspiciousness from inauspiciousness. It can seem initially like a subtler voice. It can seem unrecognizable in the beginning, but it is there. It is how you answer the inquiry, who am I, can only be answered from your heart. Every single beautiful question in the invitation can only be answered in the heart. Are you aware now? Can you stop being? Cannot be answered in the head. And if you are answering in the head, then it is just spiritual ego.
Yes.
We have to be able to look at it from the heart, because this is the human condition. You will always have two voices calling you. You see? One is a loud, rushing voice saying, come, 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 you're missing out, come right now. You see? And the other is a quieter call for the truth, which is not so affected by time, which is not in a rush. You see? But because you're in satsang, that is enough evidence to show me that you are ready for the call of the heart. You're ready for the call of the heart. But the thing is that when you start hearing the call of the heart, then the mind's voice sometimes starts to shout louder, starts to say, it starts to become more judgmental, it starts to say more strongly. But to keep smelling in this way and to keep returning to the heart, to keep returning to the call of the timelessness within you, of God's presence within you, That is the seeming journey. So although you return to it instantly, you see, this is the gift. The instant you truly turn away from the mind, God is inevitable. You see, it is not work to find God. All it needs is for you to turn away from the voice of lies, from the voice of falsehood. You see, we don't even have to go to the truth. This is the magnificence. You see, all we have to do is turn away from the false. You see, and turn away also, you don't have to even work with your attention. Just turn away with your belief. You see, because turning away with our attention can seem more difficult. No, don't think. Then no thoughts. You see? But even that you don't have to do. Anything can come in your attention. Just turn away in your belief. Don't buy the story. The story can still appear. Just in this turning away, right now, you come to the presence of God. No additional work is needed. You don't have two steps. Not step one, turn away from mind, and step two, turn towards God. Step one includes both the steps. But the only way to hear the call of the heart, the only way to experience your true self, the only way in which God's presence is palpable is to turn away from the mind. You cannot expect to go to the mind and find God. So, a lot of times in Advaita, there is a danger that we become super smart and we say that, yes, but mind is also God. You see? Yes, of course, it is also God, but the design of the mind in God's place is to create a living hell for you. So the turning away is very important to do as consciousness. You cannot have your cake in this way and eat it too. You cannot put one foot in the highest and try to keep one foot in and individuality. It is not possible like that.
Thanks, God, for that. There is also, Guruji, recently was surprised that thank you very much for destroying the spiritual ego that was noticed, and I don't know how to say that else, but also the pride that beyond all of this. Yes. That was quite surprising to realize, and the base for that was the pride. So all of this is put in your fire, and it's false. So there's no place for that here.
Wonderful. Wonderful. I'm very happy to hear this because pride is usually a blind spot. Pride is usually a blind spot because the words of pride many times start sounding like the words of satsang. So it's difficult to spot. And I'm so happy that you have been able to smell it and spot it and dethrone it from its kingdom. So I'm very happy to hear that. That's very good.
So, please, one more thing. Yes. What may I say?
Yes.
May this being, I don't know how to say that, but like I'm begging for the vigilance.
Yes.
For that clarity and to be able to spot instantly and not to be tempted. Yes. Because the one who is tempted, let it burn as well.
Yes. Full blessings, full love. May it be so. May it be so. And but remember that in the moments where the voice of temptation seemed real and it was believed, then when it is spotted that it seemed real and it was believed, then the idea is not to make ourselves guilty in any way, but just to surrender it that very instant and say, I was tempted, but now I see. That's all. It is not
Yes,
about, I should not do that, I should
mhm.
stop doing this, when will this end? None of that. Just return to the divinity within you that very instant. That's the biggest antidote. That is the biggest solution. Very good. Very good. Okay, my dear. Good start today. Good start. Very good. Okay, let's go to Sneza.
Hello, hello, Ananta.
Hello, my love. Namaste.
I wanted to bring a few things to you, but now everything is now and it's different. So firstly, I would like to thank to Bodhitara
Yes.
bringing up I think the third thing I wanted to ask for your blessings. Last 2 years, I really went exaggerating in kind of self-destroying way, like my mind would somehow rather kill the body than to let go. It's a mixture, it's hard to explain, or I don't want to use too much narrative about it, but it's time now that this, which was also helpful, but also like an enemy, and I was often able to stop smoking for longer periods, and then somehow I needed it to calm down the nervosis or anxiety or whatever, and I liked it also in a way. But now it went over all limits, and I really ask for your blessing so that this can be left for good.
Full blessings. Full blessings.
And if I can still, I wanted to, I would like to report what happened since, or what is being happening somehow. I don't know how to describe it in maybe last week, or somehow like the main triggers were last retreat with Muji, and few things he said which were really like striking, and your pushing all of us in last satsang to the edge, at least I felt like that, and I also needed it. It was a crucial moment for that here. And it was like Muji was saying in retreat, or you get crazy or you awake. No other choice. I was really at this edge. And when you were speaking about jumping, that not even knowing how, that if there is real humble true intention, that you jump and you don't know you jumped or you didn't, or whatever happened. But it was happening like on Tuesday here with me. I don't know if I jumped or not, but I don't know. And last 3 days, it's like something is being revealed to itself finally differently as till now in the last, I don't know, 8 years or since I'm following Muji, or 6 years really intensely, and let's say 2 years also you. And I wanted to express real deep and humble gratitude to first Arunachala, Ramana, Papaji, for Mujiji, and Mujiji for you.
Thank you.
And
I want to say a few things about this.
please.
Thank you for sharing. It's very good. So I feel like I have been provoking like this over the past couple of weeks. And I'm so happy that you came up and responded in this way, because sometimes I start to wonder whether anyone is really listening to what I'm saying. So this is very good that you heard my invitation to jump, you see, and then that is meant to make you uncomfortable in some way. You see, it is not a comfortable instruction because I'm not telling you how to jump. I'm saying that you must risk it all. You must have full faith and jump. Now, if this was an instruction which was completely undoable, then no frustration would be caused by it, because it would be like saying, can you please go and chase the kangaroo in your garden? You see, you would have said, oh, Ananta has lost his marbles. So you're going to stop coming to satsang. You see, because it's undoable what he's asking us, right? And yet your mind complains that it is undoable in this case also, because you don't know how to jump. You see, nobody's telling you how to jump. And yet it frustrates you because somewhere else you know it is the call for the truth. It is not.
May I say something? I spotted really how the crucial was first these questions, how mind, like what's the way?
Yes.
And then like lack of courage and faith.
Yes.
And it was really like, now you have to, this is the choice.
Yes.
You have to make.
Yes.
The only choice you have. Yes. Or you go for it or not. This is the only two possible answers. Yes. And you have all the power to say or yes or no.
Yes.
And this was really like, oh, I don't know.
Very good. Very good. Exactly. This is exactly what it was meant to invite, exactly what it was meant to provoke. Because the mind will get frustrated with this, and then it stops being like a comfortable spirituality. You know, once a week we attend satsang and it makes us a little peaceful, and then I can go around being a person for the rest of the week, and that bothers me. So I come to satsang with Ananta, you know, and then I feel like I'm rejuvenated for the rest of the week. This is not what spirituality is. You see, this is not what spirituality is. Spirituality is something so much beyond something that can be included in our life. You see, we want spirituality to be included in our life to make us peaceful. So I come and meditate a bit, and I do some self-inquiry, and I get some peace. So then the main part of my life then becomes more peaceful. You see, it is not meant to assist you in that way. You see, it's
okay.
That the true power, you see, the true power is regaining control over this life, which never belonged to the non-existent one in the first place. That's what satsang is for, you see. And this non-existent force, which seems real in this living condition, the human condition, which is the ego, will obviously not like it. Will obviously not like it and say, no, now we are going a bit too far. I didn't come to satsang to jump out of my life. I didn't come to satsang to surrender myself fully. to get fully naked. You see, I just wanted some help to become a better person, a better parent, a better partner. You see? Then we are encountered with this. You see, that the true spirituality, the true quest for God, must mean a giving up of a me. You see, it is when the cat sees in the mirror that there is no cat, and yet says, "So, what should I do next?" You see, it is to encounter that at that level and burn up the false, throw away the false, completely surrender that which we take ourselves to be. That is when the real rubber hits the road. You see? So I don't want to be an accessory to your peace. You see? I don't want to be an accessory to somebody's peace. So just like, oh, I come to Ananta once a week. He has these beautiful sayings, and then I feel so nice. If that's a byproduct, that's fine. I'm not opposed to that. But I'm saying that that is not my purpose. My purpose is to invite you into the heart, where I found a much more valuable existence through my Father's grace. Get you out of the hell of your head into the Sadguru presence of the heart. And sometimes that friction is needed, you see, because in spiritual ego, we get into a very comfortable hell, which we don't recognize. Like Bodhi said earlier, we don't recognize the pride, where we feel like, wow, I know this, I am the self, nothing can touch me. My reality is untouched. You see, all like in the mind, because the words sound very much like satsang, we feel like we are onto something. We've got it. You see? So then we feel like, this is where I found. So when I ask you to jump, and I'm saying fully jump, and you have to do it now, you cannot meet this instruction from the wrong place. And it is good to have that friction. You see, where the mind starts to steam up a bit and say, what is he saying? I'm going to stop coming here. You see, it's better to leave than do this kind of stuff. You see, that's really important. You see? So there is no intention here to ever become popular. There is no intention here to ever become popular, because I see that popularity is contradictory to what we are sharing. The world loves to collect things. The world loves its attachments. You see, and most in the world are attached to the world. I am asking you to burn up everything. Who can follow that call? And I'm not even telling you how to light it up. I'm just saying burn it all. See? And it is an instruction that you can follow, and that is why it frustrates you. You see, that is why it frustrates you, because you can follow it in your heart, but you can't follow it in your head. And that is where the frustration comes from. If it was completely undoable and you knew it, you would throw it away. You would say, okay, now this part, it's not making sense, forget about it. But somewhere it is sticking with you, jump, jump, jump. It's staying with you, isn't it? And it's poking something, you see, saying, yeah, see, why is it? Because I see a lot of things. They don't bother you. They're like 99 out of 100 things I tell you, you may feel like you cannot do, but they don't bother you. This one bothers you. This one bothers you because you know you can do it. You're meeting that call.
Like the heart is starting to call you, like this intrinsic intuition or knowingness,
Yes.
Which is, it's hearing it and it's getting stronger and stronger, the pull.
Yes, exactly. So this is shaking you out of our comfort zone of spiritual understanding to a true meeting with God. You see? To a true meeting with God.
Maybe if I can just say that I didn't come to Muji or to you with this in this way as you were describing now, spirituality, and so I came like, I maybe just say this, that in fact in since 2014, my life is just falling really roughly apart with horrible things happening. And last 2 years, I was in constant heavy mind attack. And these were just the moments, and following just Satsangs and Muji and all others were just like tiny lights in real dark. So I'm so grateful, beyond any words, to all. This morning I was listening to Muji, like saying you can choose, or you go now with the call of outer world,
Yes.
or you go to the sages which are standing 6 meters from your, what he said. And here I also I would beg you for your blessing, that I don't react as I did 2 times when this recognition came. I misunderstood it like the recognition is something you get and it's permanent. Now you are true, through the veil of illusions, and you are there, and all is done. And it was not so, and I reacted completely in opposite. So over enthusiastic, like trying to repair all the bad things I did or were happening, or I promised and I didn't do, and I was really going frenzic, and I really hope that I need yours and Muji's hand now really to calm down in slow recognition now. I don't need it fast, no fast process, but as much as I can. And
very good. This is very good maturity. See? So to notice this excitement, to notice that, yes, oh, it's so clear. There is no me. There's only the self. So who can I talk to about this? What can I fix? There's no rush. Just follow your heart moment to moment.
So much arrogance. I didn't even know that it's in me, but it was monstrous, huge.
Very good. And like we were saying, that it's very good that both of you have spotted this and called it out today, because it is this spiritual pride which is such a blind spot that it can grab us, and because the narrative is similar to the words of Satsang, then it's very difficult to smell. So I'm so glad to hear both these reports where both of you are able to spot this, you see, and say, but this is pride. This is just a conceptual spirituality, a conceptual idea of what I've understood, not a true meeting in the heart. Very good. Bless you.
I love you. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. You are my true father, if you accept me as a child.
Of course. Fully.
Thank you.
So much. Thank you so much.
Bless you.
Yeah. Yes. And yet I'm asking you to jump. Without a point. Because you trust me, you jump.
My question is, Ananta-ji,
my request is to burn up your rationality. See? That is the true heart of a bhakta. Like a bhakta doesn't say, oh God, first you tell me how, but it doesn't compute.
Then why so much of spiritual?
See why?
Why so much of
Is your heart asking why?
But why should
Yes,
it's getting caught in the practice?
What's happening? Why?
Yes, the mind is also getting caught in the practice.
In the practice. So, for example, like what is it saying?
Wanting to reach, wanting to,
Yes.
it is
Yes.
just getting
Yes.
caught.
Yeah.
Coverage.
So if I say, so the mind wants to achieve, no? The mind wants to get self-realization, wants to become God or even bigger than God. But if I say to your mind, are you aware now? Does the mind know the answer? Not the mind. If I say to the mind, who are you? Were you born? Do you have a boundary? Mind doesn't know any of the answers which are worth knowing. See, but you know. You see? So this is what I mean by the two voices. One is the quieter one. It's not shouting, saying, why, tell me. You see? It's just a holy presence within you. The Sadguru is sitting there. Now, here, there is no difficulty in anything that I'm pointing to.
That what is futile, Ananta-ji? It's futile.
So if the mind is reporting that, okay, now Ananta is saying jump, but why should I take the effort? Who would be reporting a truer pointing to you? Whose voice will you trust? Who will you take as a true guide? It is the same mind which also says, why should I inquire? There is no individual doer, so who should do the inquiry? Isn't it? The same mind says that. What is the need to inquire? So, this is just pure escapism that the mind proposes to you and says, no, you're done with that phase. Maybe he is talking to everybody else. Because I don't need to inquire anymore. But why? Inquiry is a gift which we can give ourselves each moment. A sage can live in inquiry all his life. So when something is resisted in that way, that itself tells you that something is trying to build up a defense. You see, what is hiding behind that? So the master is saying jump. Why not jump? Isn't it? Why not jump? Because it is scared of losing dominance. It is scared. It is saying how, but how? I don't know. So if I say to you, be fully open and empty, I've been saying open and empty for how many years? It's the same thing as jump. You see? But the problem with open and empty is that it can seem like, yeah, I'm open. I got this, bro. Jump, like be open and empty and jump. Gone. The comfort zone is gone. You see? So this is what I'm trying to shake up. I'm trying to shake up a bit. Because what can happen is that a mental concept of open and empty can be applied. You see, or the mental concept of being in the unborn or emotionless existence can be applied. So now I'm going to make sure I have enough contradictions in everything that I'm saying so that you remain uncomfortable. My job is to make you uncomfortable every time. You see, because what will happen in a few weeks is that you will become comfortable with jump. You see, you become, the mind will have enough counter proposal. So then I have to keep coming up with something new to make you uncomfortable. How can you be made uncomfortable? If suppose I came in today and said to you that everything I've said so far has been all nonsense. I'm going to share a new spirituality which is the opposite of everything that I've said. You say, but I've been following you 2 years, 5 years, 10 years. I think there's something wrong with you. I think there's something wrong with you. But if you become comfortable in what I'm sharing, where have you become comfortable in what I'm sharing? Is it in God's light? And if it is in God's light, does God's light have a problem with seeming intellectual contradictions? You see, where is the problem? Unless you meet me like this, the goose will not escape the vase. You know this Zen koan. Unless you're willing to meet me with full faith, Master says, I don't know how. If you need to understand me, then your mind is still your master. Because then if I need to knock on the mind door and say, sir, please, here is my rationality. I can explain to you why, and then you will let me in. Then who's the true master? You see this? So when you come, all questions are welcome in spite of this rant that I'm having. I'm very glad you bring it up. That means what I'm saying is having some impact. You see, sometimes you're just hearing it so peacefully. I'm just like, I really like speaking to all these kids or what's happening. So I'm glad it's causing some friction. It's causing some friction because that means that you are not resting in a comfortable sort of conceptual narrative spirituality. You see, which is like, yes, I'm the self. And then something pokes you in that. And then all that is out the window. And you're immediately. So either you give yourself up in this way, or life squeezes it out of you. Or life squeezes it out of you. Because if you're expecting life to always make sense, it's not going to happen. So meet your master, that doesn't make sense. Is it a fair demand from a disciple to a master that the master has to explain why? Then where is the faith? Then faith is only a fancy word. I have full faith in you as long as you can tell me why. But if a random stranger could come and tell you why, and you would trust them also once the why is clear. Isn't it? So, who can follow? Because now they have done enough due diligence. They say, yes, I can follow this one. Done enough due diligence. And you've tested what has come from here. And you can say, okay, I can follow. I don't know how, but I will. I'm not here to rationalize anything. If you can make sense of what I'm saying, I'm doing a very bad job. I said to another child that day, you have to pick whether you want to understand or whether you want to follow. You have to pick. But if you say, I want to follow, but my way of following is with my understanding, then you're not really following. I am not forcing anyone at all to follow. I'm not forcing anyone at all to follow. See? I'm just saying that if you say that you follow me, if you say that I am your guru, then what is the value of that guru unless you follow? And I don't want a relationship where you say, you are guru, but first you go through my hoops. You first tell me like everything, explain everything to me. Then I'm just like a random friend. So I don't want you to follow me because I make sense to you. I don't want you to follow me because of some things which have changed in your life. I don't want you to follow me because you experience some miracles. Because everyone can follow like that. They're saying in the broadcast that if this one is sitting here and then his head exploded and all you saw was a ball of light, you see, then I don't need faith to follow. No, anyone will follow in the world. Anybody who saw that experience will say there is something here. I'm going to follow this one. You see? So if it needs experiences or so-called miracles for you to follow me, if it needs me to make sense to you, whereas the whole project is unreasonable, it's beyond your reason, you see, then what is faith? Then guru and disciple is lip service. If I have to encounter all your whys and my job is to show you God, then this contradiction, this divided attention and faith can never bring one to God. I am willing to share the highest that my master gave me. But you must be willing to make that which you consider the highest sacrifice. It's the best exchange possible. All you're giving up on is your narratives, and most of your narratives are your lamentations. So you're really giving up on nothing of value to receive the highest. No greater gift. Even one moment, an instant, a glimpse of God's light is worth hundreds of lives, millions of lives of pride and taking yourself to be something. So on both ends of the equation is a gift to you. Your giving up on yourself is a gift to yourself, and your discovery of the highest self is the highest gift to yourself. Neither end is a spectrum, is a sacrifice, although it may seem like one. So my craziness needs to meet your craziness for this to work. Otherwise, not going to work. If my craziness only meets your sanity, it's not going to work out. Is it? For this to truly explode, there needs to be crazy on both sides. Is it? But a craziness enough to let go of the mind, not the mental idea of craziness or rebelliousness or some notion of craziness in our head. The desire to jump into your heart with full gusto without understanding anything or what is going to happen. That is the craziness that I mean. Let's go to Ananda.
Thank you, Father.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you. Very much a report, like Snezza, very much. Truly want to say thank you, fully thank you to Kaisha. When I reached out to her, she drags me out of the pub with no excuse. Like I can't even explain it in words. She didn't allow the dialogue. She brought me to where I am. And And the rest of the day was spent just following her words over and over. And it was just beautiful. Silence, joy, peace. Just enjoyed myself fully. And then about a few hours ago.
Okay, before we come to that part,
Okay.
I want to say something about this. I'm very happy to hear this because this is what a Sangha should be. This is what a Sangha should be. That just like the Master is a refuge, God is a refuge, the Sangha should also be a refuge. So the Sangha can play this role of sharing each other's light in this way, rather than waiting, hiding. This is very good. So this is my submission, proposal to all of you, that share your highest light. Share your highest light. Everyone is anyway sharing all the time. But many times what happens in satsang is that we become very sheepish. We become like, I don't want to be seen as arrogant and all of these things. Okay? I'm not saying, I'm not giving any certificates of freedom or enlightenment. Okay? I'm just saying that all of you have had the benefit of the taste of this light, and from there you can share. You can share the meeting that you had with God's presence. So in this way, without appointing or anointing any teachers or anything like that, I feel like a Sangha should really be in service to each other in this beautiful way. So I'm very, very happy to hear this.
Thank you. Truly at both your feet. All this. I also want to expose as well that beautiful, beautiful Judith as well. Beautiful, has been giving so much, and she doesn't allow the pub friend either. And I can see that. Don't know if this is true or not, but it's my beingness. It's as if my beingness is wanting to be with itself and sees itself in another. And there is no difference between Kaisha, Bodhitara, Judith. They're all the same, just different names. And I don't know, but a few hours ago, after such peace and just enjoying my divine presence, and I don't know if this is true or not, but it felt like an energy went through me. And that's what happens. And it scares me. And I also admitted to Kaisha that some resistance has been coming up, and it's searching, going on Facebook, going outside a lot, started smoking a lot. That's a big one. Pacing. Your last satsang, when you say jump, all I keep seeing is jumping. What do I have to do to jump? Do I just, it's just going crazy, and there's a lack of being able to see it. And since your last satsang, there's such a fear coming up in the middle of the day, standing outside in daylight, shaking, when I don't know why I have this fear. And tonight, it's 5:00 in the morning here, all night, and I can see my son as well, who also follows you. I could see him in his room, that he was feeling something too from listening to you. The body fell asleep. and had horrific nightmare. And as soon as woke up screaming from the nightmare, and I saw it was 4:30 and was so grateful that Satsang was on.
Yes.
I'm here for this, Father. I'm holding your hand, so just don't let go of this hand.
Okay, my dear. So let's see what we can say to this. So your job in all of this is very simple.
Okay.
Your job in all of this is very simple. All you have to do is remain with yourself, which is the absence of belief in the mind. And if that seems like too open and too vast, then remain in the presence of the Sadguru within. You see, the light of the I am presence within you. You see, that's all. That's all that your job is.
When you say that, it was always heard so easily. Sorry.
When I told you what your job is, you see, the mind's attempt, and then therefore it becomes a successful attempt, is that you do another job, which is to evaluate what it means when I say that. But did I say that that is the job? It's as simple as that, because everything else I hear, there is no energy in this universe which has any power over the being which is within you. Everything is a child for that one. There is no nightmare which can scare your God presence. It is only when you take a perspective of being something other than that, then these things are meaningful. Otherwise, reporting about energies and nightmares is like talking about peanuts and popcorn. It doesn't really matter. Because you are the light of this universe itself. Only when you take yourself to be a tiny object can these things be something big and scary or things to worry about. What stops you from doing the job that I have given you?
There's some belief that's still there.
But that belief is completely in your control. Nothing can force belief within you. So split it out.
There's also another fear as well that
don't value anything but the self. Remain open and empty. And if that seems like too much, hang on to God's presence in your heart for dear life, and don't hang on to anything else.
I am holding on to dear life. Truly.
Huh? Say again?
I am holding on to dear life. At the same time that this is happening, there's knocks on the door, the front door, because they want the rent money. And there's no money. And
I accept that metaphor. It's fine. It's good. It's nice. So
life looks a little real.
Just God, nothing else. That's it. Everything can knock as much as they want. Inwardly, only God. Inwardly, only God. Outwardly, all up to God. It's okay.
Why can't I leave the room?
Why?
Is there so much fear even to go outside? It makes no sense.
Is your job to understand that?
Oh.
Easy. Because when you try to understand that, then you give power back to the non-existent one. Surrender is a surrender of all your power, all your rationalizations and understanding why something is this way and way. Or is it, and this is something for you just to contemplate, is God in service for that other project which is of value to you? You see, and if God isn't for that, then why are you placing that compulsion on yourself? That this condition must be satisfied before I can fully follow.
They don't know what to do.
You know what to do. I have told you a few times in this conversation itself. You see? So that's why maybe the recording is good and the transcript is good. Because the mind will keep saying, but I don't know what to do. I have defined your job very clearly to you. If your mind is complaining, if your mind is confused, that means we are getting somewhere.
I don't want to talk from there. I want to be able to just see it. And
Don't take any other project besides the job I've given you.
okay.
Leave all other understanding aside. I've given you a very simple job, which in the world is the most difficult job, but in your heart is the simplest. You see? Just follow one instruction, that's all. We can leave all spiritual understanding aside. You see? That which feels cornered and helpless has to be cornered and helpless, and more so, not less so.
So it's good what's happening. Okay.
You don't have to understand anything.
Okay.
Where can you evaluate good and bad? That's where faith comes in. What if I came to the heart and I'm fully deluded because the heart is deluding me? When I came to the heart, I became fully deluded. That is not my problem. That is God's problem. If I go to Him and He deludes me, that is His problem. That's not on me. But if I turn away from God, if I go to the mind and then I'm deluded, then it's on me. To expect God out of my head is the biggest mistake that I can make, and the only mistake that I can make. Do I know that to go in my heart is good? Do I know I won't become deluded? No, I don't know. There is no rational reason that these things should happen. I don't know rationally, and that is why it needs trust. So if I say to you, you have one job is to remain with the self or with God's presence in your heart. If you're going to dance to the tunes of the mind saying, but what about this and how about that and but why like this and why can't I stay and all of that, then are you doing the job that I'm asking you to do? So face all the fears the mind is throwing you unfazed. Let them come and let them go. God is with you. In this you need the strength of a warrior. In this you need the strength of the warrior. In this you cannot be meek. In turning towards God you cannot be meek. In your outer expression with the world, if meekness comes, then that is fine. With the mind, you cannot be meek. With facing the mind, you have to be the lion. Otherwise, the snake will overpower you.
I hear you.
It wants to be central in even this conversation, which is heart to heart. It wants to say, hello, hello, I'm here, I'm saying this. You see,
Yeah.
don't value that. Don't value that. It is not in service to you. It is only to distract you. The mind will find 100 reasons in every satsang to distract you. He'll say, but what about this? But what about that? But why father like this? But why this? Why does he do that? Why doesn't he do that? Everything he wants it my way. But you have to see it as a mind which is clamoring for attention, clamoring for belief, and therefore wants to be dominant in your life. And you have to be done with this dominance of the mind. Because this is what mental slavery looks like. So never get confused about what your job is in this. I have made it plain and clear and straightforward. Don't get confused. Don't get distracted by side projects, humble projects. Oh, this will help me do that. I have not said that. You can go direct to God in your heart. And I'm here to help you. The Sangha is helping you as well. All of us are
Thank you.
service to this.
Thank you. May I humbly ask if
Yeah.
Taisha, would you still support if I don't know, it's her presence. Something when she speaks, it's like she has an axe. Like it just tops it.
Of course.
So beautiful.
Very good. Of course she will. I'm saying on her behalf already. Of course she will.
All of you. Thank you. Thank you, Father. So love you. I'm at your feet.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Let's go to Clarissa.
Thank you, Anandaji.
Okay.
Hello. Thank you to Ananda Rose because I really tried to follow you and to follow the words because everything she said was coming up in me also, and there was so much resistance to come to satsang, and I know it's the only thing I really want to do. And
So very good that you can spot the resistance. You see, because to say resistance means that it is no longer considered right. You see? Because if you had believed it and not come to satsang, you would have said, oh, that was good advice. That was guidance. It was not resistance. You see? But to take it to see it as resistance already is to spot this trick. So I'm very happy.
There's so extreme experiences in the mind, and it's really this fear to lose, to let control fall, that this craziness is coming out.
The craziness is coming out?
Yes.
That's very good. It's very good. Don't make sense for a week. Nothing will happen. Inwardly, don't make sense out of anything for a week. I'm talking about inwardly. Sometimes when I say stuff like this, we feel like we have to exhibit it outwardly. If that happens naturally, that's fine. Don't understand what your current state is. You see, because it is that notion which will define you and then give you the ability to plug the future narrative into it. You see, if you say, this is my condition right now, only then can you say, okay, then this happened. You see, if right now is all 0, 0, 0, then what can we say? What happened? You cannot add. No? You cannot add. So first the mind tricks you into saying, this is what is happening to you. I promise you it is nonsense. This happening and you, all of those proposals from the mind are nonsense. You can pick out any of them and evaluate them and you see nonsense. You see? So it is just distraction tactics, which I'm so happy you're spotting so well from the instruction which has been given to you to stay in your heart, to remain in the way of the heart. No rational person can do this. And what I mean by that is that if you're constricted by your rationality, you can never remain in a true meeting with God. Because it is beyond your intellect. It is beyond your mental capacity. It is beyond your body. It is beyond this universe. None of these containers are big enough for God. But because you are none of these things in reality, you can. Don't oppress yourself with an understanding about yourself. Just see God everywhere. So I'm very, very happy today because my instruction is frustrating so many. It sounds like a strange thing to say. It's very important. Because it is exposing in your own light the inability of the mind to follow. And it is only frustrating because there's another element there which knows the truth of what I'm saying. If that element was not there, your heart element was not there, then it would not be frustrating. It will just sound like the ramblings of a mind man. So when these two elements, the head element and the heart element meet, and you're still in the battle for choosing, then it can seem frustrating.
I choose God,
Very
but it seems that there is something where I hold on to and I hold on to and I don't want to let go, and it's like this little finger.
This is very good, my dear. So at least you're not in a denial. At least you say, I choose God, but I'm a little attached to whatever that is. The content of that is not important. You see? But to shine it in your own light brings an integrity into your spirituality. Brings an integrity into your spirituality rather than a conceptual spirituality, which is like, oh, it's all fine, everything is God's will, all is taken care of, which is all true. I'm not saying it's not true, but when it becomes conceptual, then it's all untrue.
I'm very thankful that I can come, and I'm very thankful for the Sangha. Thank you.
Very, very good. Thank you.
Thank you.
Let's go to Edgar.
Hello, good morning.
Yeah.
Good evening.
Good evening, Edgar.
Yes, it's been a while since I haven't come to Satsang, and listening to your words, I can see that it was out of resistance and not out of a correct decision. Because I started thinking in my mind that I didn't need it anymore, and or maybe that I was too busy, but it was just an excuse, of course. And now I'm here. Now I don't want to fall into the trap of looking for some peace and then stop coming to satsang again. So I'm just committed to keep attending to this. Hopefully, like I just remember when you used to do the satsangs on like twice a week, but now you just do it once.
Yeah.
So what's happening with me is I start like creating a lot of resistance inside of me, because whenever I start trying to make sense of some spiritual concept, and trying to understand it in my mind, like you say, it is not possible to make sense of these words in their essence, and that's what I try a lot, failing in the process, and that creates a lot of resistance, like frustration. Why can I understand this, or why am I still feeling this, feeling frustration, feeling desire, feeling all kinds of mind stuff. I guess I will just listen to your words more, and I mean, just listening to them, it has an effect. And I don't know. I don't want to ask you what should I do, because the doing is just like more conceptual
Yes.
stuff that I try to get, but that's not the way, of course. So thank you for the satsangs, and I will just listen to whatever you have to say.
Very good. Very good. I'm very happy to see you. It's been a bit of a break, but I see that this period away and now hearing this, I can see that it's helped. It's helped. So it's good, because, like I was saying earlier, you see, when you were following the resistance, you were not calling it resistance, because nobody spots it as resistance and follows. When we follow the resistance, we take it to be righteousness. See, I'm done with him, I can do it on my own now, or I found something which is better, or whatever it may be. We, at that moment, we don't see it as resistance. Because the minute we can see that this is resistance, then we've already put it in the box of not having to follow. See? So when we follow our resistances, we consider ourselves to be right. And this is great maturity, to be able to come back and say, I noticed that I thought I was right, but really it was my mind's play, it was arrogance it was trying to create. So this is very, very good. I'm very happy, and I bless you with all my heart. And full love, full blessings.
Can I say something more? Just so maybe not.
What? Follow your heart. If it really is to say, then you can.
No, like, just want to make sure that I didn't waste this opportunity to speak to you, and like I'm very sure at this exact precise moment I'm okay. What I'm not so sure is what will be of me later on this morning, like over here this morning, or this day, this week. I guess I want some kind of assurance that it's gonna be fine.
Well,
for me.
I'm going to be honest with you. Even I don't know. Even I don't know what's going to happen here, not for you, but here also. If I don't go into my house now and get fully identified and take myself to be a body, I don't know. There's no guarantee. There's no guarantee. There's no reassurance. But in this moment, I trust God's presence to take me through all of that, whatever needs to be taken through. And this reassurance of the present experience of God's life is enough for me.
And
If I had guarantees, then why would I have faith in God? Isn't it? Then I would need a temporary faith, saying, I just need to have faith for a moment till God give me a permanent guarantee. Then what kind of surrender or devotion would that be?
Okay.
It's very good. It's very good. I understand where the question is coming from, but dive into this unknown. This is the beauty of this. All is good.
Thank you.
Thank you, my dear. Very good. Okay, let's go to Audron. Actually, I've almost called her up a couple of times. I don't know why it didn't happen, but I'm so happy you have your hand up today.
Thank you. Thank you. I want to come up with the same report like Clarissa, like Sneja, because last audio satsangs left me with that strong urge to say yes.
Yes.
Just, I don't know to what, to that jump. Of course, that frustration also came because I didn't know how to do, what to do, but I really want to be done with that, like you call armchair spirituality. Yes. But I really, you told one story of two sons. One said yes, one said no. And I don't want to be like that son who said yes, but didn't do this.
Yes.
Because I really have a lot of avoidance in me. Somehow, many things, like I know in my heart that every word you speak is true. I know that meeting with you is like center of my life, but somehow many times I just do not follow your guidance. So I guess I just wanted to leave it at your feet.
This is beautiful. It is beautiful. Because this is integrity. This is integrity. It is not making excuses, because I can tell from the fragrance of your words that it is not an avoidance or a mental tactic. This is a true confession in that way, where you say that you can smell the truth of where these words are pointing you. You want to also follow, but sometimes you identify with the mind. This is very good to find in your own life. So I'm very happy to meet this integrity and work with you together with this. And you have spotted it, and therefore your fire, the longing to be in your holy presence, to be in the Sadguru presence in your heart, will only get amplified as a result of this. So I'm completely with you on this. I appreciate the honesty in your words, and we are going to make this happen. Yeah.
Thank you.
Very good. I'm so happy with hearing all of your reports today in Satsang, because really I was wondering, so because I didn't get so many frustrated reports, or I didn't get a lot of tantrums, and I was wondering if anybody heard what I was saying. So
we did. We did.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Full bless. I'm very glad in my heart. I'm very glad.
Namaste, Ananta ji.
Namaste.
Father, the fire is really burning here. I don't have words to. His head has a lot of resistance to not even to your words, I would say, but my heart knows what I really am is what you are.
Yes.
I know that body sitting on the other side, it's not a body, but it's everything what I am.
Very good. Very good.
I feel it in my heart. I'm just using these words, but it's not the emotion, but it's just fire burning, and there is that words coming that you really have to make me one with you now.
Yes. 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 Yes.
Please, I'm not going back from here.
Very good. Very good. Yes.
If this body dies now, it's fine for whatever reason, but
Very good. Very, very
an absurd wish, but this is what I'm wishing now.
Very good. Very good. I promise you that the presence that uses this body to speak can never turn away from you. That it is the same presence in your heart, and it is not ever going to turn away from you. All you have to do is to turn away from the voice of selfishness. That's all. So it has tried to distract you. Even after being in satsang, it has tried all the possible tricks to say, a little bit like that, little bit like this, let me dance little like this, little like that. How can I make the best satsang for my life? It has tried to micromanage all of this. Now I can see in your words that all of that is being thrown away. All of that is being thrown away, and you're fully here. I will not turn my back on you. Always with you.
I remember I came to Mujibawa in 2015. I didn't come for freedom, anything like that. I just couldn't live with the person anymore.
Yes.
And then the jumping, what he says, the cow jumps over the moon. That was the grace. You have the same grace, so it's the same. So please, this is I don't know what to call it. It's one with you now.
Yes. 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 It is so. It is so.
I don't know. This tasting the honey is a long time now. It's being with you, one with you now.
Very good. Very good. So now, as you turn away from your mind, turn away from all evaluative tendencies, all judgment about yourself or anything else, just empty of all of this.
Thank you is not enough, but
Thank you.
thank you. This is never going to end.
Thank you so much. Thank you. All my love, all my blessings. Thank you. Thank you. Let's go to Aniko.
Hi, Ananta-Ji.
Go.
I thank you. I just almost the same reports you got today from everybody. I feel.
Why don't we change the script today? You start laughing in the beginning, and then we don't change. We don't make it the opposite. So I don't want you to be upset at the end.
Ananta-Ji, I don't know.
Okay, say.
In some way, my view of you is a bit changed by these two satsangs. It is, I don't know how to tell you this with very much respect in my heart, is obviously coming from the ego. Then you really want too much, you really want everything, and take away everything from me, because I have a lot of kind of mask of my personality, and how can I tell you, in some way, something I really like a little bit, or kind of specialness is here. You know, the spiritual specialness, like I go through so many beautiful things, and I like to be identified with the one who met Guruji and you, and went there and had the experience, and this kind of ego is created very much, and I really identified with this one, but I can see very clearly, and also I can see it's not so easy to let. I mean, it's so nice feeling to hold it, or but at the same time, I know this is the only way. There is no other way but take everything, because otherwise I will never. Yeah.
Is God's light palpable for you now? Trying not to laugh.
Oh, no.
Just like that. So seriously, where this is happening, that is happening, da, 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 da. 1 second of God. Finish. Today not to laugh. She was determined that today will be serious.
Thank you.
Okay, let's go to Samia.
Hi, Father.
Okay.
Hello. Came back to Turkey a few days ago. Yeah, yeah.
That's the best report I've heard all day.
Yeah, thanks to you. Yeah. Yeah. I believed, like, when I turned back, like the old habits, mind habits was there, and that's why I put my hand. But I'm so happy that in your presence they have no importance, and so thankful to make me see this.
Yeah.
I just want to lay this life at Guruji's feet, at your feet, and may your grace just guide each and every step of mine, every moment. And I completely leave this life in your hands, and don't worry about it at all anymore.
Very good. Very good.
Thank you for everything. Thank you.
So welcome. So welcome, my child. Very good. Very happy. Very good.
And I just want to share that Guruji just told me that he's just so happy and pleased to see me, very mature and very open to his teaching, very happy to see the depth in me, and I know that it's his grace and it's you. So I just want to thank you, and his words, I bring them to you. So thank you.
So beautiful. Thank you for sharing.
You make me like this. So thank you so much.
So very good. I'm very happy to hear this. Thank you. Thank you. Let's go to Shrikant.
Hello, Father.
Oh,
Yeah. Somehow in this meeting, I don't have much to say actually. But then I wanted to come up. If I want to ask you for one instruction, what would that be?
whatever life throws at you, you keep your eyes in the divine presence in your heart. That's all you have to do. It will throw every fear. It will say you will live in poverty. You will never fulfill your responsibilities. Don't worry about any of that. God's will takes care of all of these things if it is God's will. If it is not God's will, then it's not going to happen anyway. The notion of individual doership is completely fraudulent.
I didn't get the last part.
The notion of individual doership is completely fraudulent.
Fraudulent.
I'm not giving any external advice. In whatever way the body has to move, that is completely fine. Inwardly, keep your sight, which is beyond the sensory sight. Keep that. Keep your presence with the presence. Everything else is taken care of.
Sometimes I don't feel this tangible presence. That is also presence.
The absence of belief in your mind is enough. Then you'll find although it is always fully available in this play of the human condition. As we let go of the mind, then we notice a deepening and a flowering of our heart. There's nothing you can do to make it go away or to make it happen. The only thing is to turn away from the voice of limitation, the voice of selfishness, which is in your head. And to turn away also does not imply that you have to fight with your attention. Just don't buy into the narratives. That's it. Good.
Yeah, I will give you the report on this.
Very good. Thank you. Let's go to Radhesham. You have to unmute, my dear. Yes.
नमस्ते,
Namaste. Namaste.
कैसे हैं आप?
बढ़िया है.
मैं तो सवाल ही भूल गया.
सौरभ ने बात की आपसे?
हाँ हाँ, अच्छा लगा उनसे बात करके.
Very good.
आपसे भी.
Thank you.
ये जो पुरानी धारणाएं हैं पहले की,
हाँ.
वो तो अब ऐसा लगता है जैसे वो खत्म होती जा रही.
Very good.
तो जैसे स्कूल में बच्चा जाता है, उसको नई शिक्षा दी जाती है, उसका एक ऐसा कुछ हो रहा है.
Yes. ऐसे लगेगा क्योंकि ये जिंदगी जीने का बिल्कुल अलग तरीका है. पहले हम सत्संग में आते हैं तो लगता है कि जैसे हमारा तरीका उसमें ऐड कर लेंगे हम, ये तरीका थोड़ा बेटर हो जाएगा सब, है ना. फिर हम सत्संग को रियली जब दिल में मिलते हैं उससे तो पता चलता है कि ये तो बिल्कुल ही फ्रेश तरीका है, वो पुराने वाले के साथ हम कर नहीं सकते. तो बिल्कुल सही बोला आपने कि ऐसा लगेगा जैसे फिर से हम स्कूल में बिल्कुल शुरू से पढ़ाई कर.
और प्रश्न तो बदलते रहते हैं, मन में तो अलग अलग विचार आते रहते हैं, और समय के साथ साथ प्रश्न भी बदल जाते हैं, परिस्थितियां बदल जाती हैं. तो बस आपका आशीर्वाद चाहिए.
बस जो भी कहानियां हैं, जो भी परिस्थितियां हैं, आपकी सच्चाई जो यहाँ है वो नहीं बदल सकती. तो जब आप वहां रहना शुरू कर देंगे तो ये सब होता रहेगा. वो तो ये तो लीला है.
यहाँ कहाँ आप किस ओर इशारा कर रहे हैं? यहाँ
जब आप यहाँ नहीं है तो आप ऑटोमेटिकली यहाँ, जब आप मन में नहीं है तो आप ऑटोमेटिकली यहाँ। यहाँ ये कोई जगह नहीं है जहाँ हम जा सकें, सिर्फ ये जब हम अपने मन की कहानियां नहीं मान रहे कि ये हमारी सच्चाई है, तब हमारे हृदय की सच्चाई हमें दिखने लगती है, आंखों के बिना दिखने लगती है।
Thank you.
Okay, let's go to Devi. I don't feel we need translation for that.
Hello. Nice to see you.
Same.
I feel this satsang was so like everything that everyone said was so much what I would want to say also. I don't know what to say now.
It's okay. Take your time.
I just felt during the satsang that there's still some falseness in me, you know, that is creating a separation, and but there's also confusion because, for example, when you said you need to give something up, you need to burn something, what I saw is actually I need to let go of a doubt.
Yes.
Not necessarily something which I think I hold on to. It's like the opposite. I don't know how to explain. Like, I don't know. I just feel like
whichever way the mental position may be pointing, you see, both of them have to be thrown into the fire.
yes.
Whether it is a clinging or it is a doubting, both have to be thrown in.
Yeah, I feel is on top is a doubt, and under it is a clinging. So
yes,
they're both there. But yeah, I just feel like it's much better. Like I can see it more clearly, and I feel it's burning.
yes.
And as you said, like this frustration, sometimes it's a bit like it feels like an obstacle, you know. It feels always so difficult, but actually I feel there's something burning in this listening, and I can feel there's still like a fight because this falseness is a bit in the way of following you, but there is like you know, I need to put some effort, but I feel it's something, strength is growing slowly.
Very good. Very good.
And yeah, I just want to ask your blessing. I'm also now visiting my mom for a while, and she's also not so well. So just if we could both have your blessing, and
yes,
thank you for your presence and for everyone's questions. Thank you.
Full blessings. I have to say that if you all keep maturing like this, you will make it very difficult for me. How will I make you uncomfortable and frustrated if you keep accepting these giant leaps? I'm very happy.
Thank you so much.
I love it. If you keep making it difficult for me like this, I would love it more and more.
Thank you.
Bless you. Let's go to Matthew.
Hello, Ananta.
Hello, my love.
Just been a while since we spoke, and so I feel like often, I guess, there's some resistance to come up, and also today, no, because this really strong satsang is bringing things up, and there is resistance, and I somehow felt it's good to come forward and speak to you.
Yes, it's very good because, like I've been saying, if you spot it and your label for it is resistance, then 90% of the battle is done.
Mm.
You see, where resistance becomes problematic is if the messages come in the mind and we say, yes, this is true. I'm tired of listening to his nonsense. I'm going to go. Bye. That is righteousness. It's the same nonsense, but when we take it to be righteousness, then we are stuck in it. The minute you spot it as resistance, it's fine. It's fine. Then it loses its power. Then it's a tiny, tiny insect.
And may I ask a bit, because you speak of how we, as this consciousness, have the choice to not identify.
Of course, yes.
And sometimes, I guess, the shape of the person comes and these shapes become appealing, or on the other hand, resisting.
Yes.
And somehow something feels caught up in that play.
Yes.
And I guess it can't, it's true that then the moment comes when if I sit, I can see, like this distance can come.
Yes.
But there's, I guess, there's also sometimes I do feel like I still get caught up in this play of wants and resistances and contrary of wants, the unwants.
Yeah. Yes. So, two aspects to this question. One is that if it is coming as pure perception, then it cannot trouble you in reality, you see. The emotionless perceptions can never bother you. That pure perception, even if something is experienced in some way like that, it's fine. But by shapes, if you mean that there are some notions which come, some ideas which are still attractive, you see, then these are the very ideas you have to throw into the fire. When you thought that something grabs you, like it's something about relationship or security or even freedom, you see, then it tries to make an individual entity out of you by getting the belief of consciousness. Then consciousness itself flips the game when it trusts the heart. And the flipping of the game is that to see these notions and say, oh, this is what gets me. Okay, let me surrender this at my master's feet. Let me surrender this at the feet of the divinity in my heart. So then the game gets flipped around, and this gives you the fuel for your surrender rather than the fuel for your identification. Then the mind does not achieve its objectives by doing that, and will stop feeding you all this will reduce. It will become more like guerrilla warfare. Very rarely it will spot an opportunity, something is happening in the world or something, and then it will try to grab you. But even then, if you get grabbed, then it's fine. You got grabbed. But the instant you notice, and you are now mature enough that you will notice, the instant you notice, return to the refuge of your heart.
Yeah, I see how this happens also. Like I was just on a walk on the park close to my house, and there was this engagement, but the moment there's the realization, but I can drop this right now,
Yes.
And then suddenly I was not in those worries again. I was just enjoying.
Exactly. So the idea of guilt is that the time spent in identification meant something. See, that is the notion of guilt. But I am telling you that that time did not mean anything. One moment of your return to God has cleaned everything up completely. That's your antidote to any guilt or regret. Because that is not the way of the heart to regret that which is already gone in the past. The way of the heart is to recognize that in my gift to myself of the presence, all the past, whatever may have happened, is all gone. It's all fresh. Then you avoid I have often used to say that this is the 1-2 punch of the mind. It's a combination. So it prods you with the one punch, but it really knocks you out with the guilt punch. Pride punch. So the 2 punch is always the more effective one for the mind. If you can not fall for that, which is that you notice, I was taking myself to be this, finished. God is here. Then the jab will not work. You see, we need the knockout punch to get deeply identified. So, I think.
Thank you.
Thank you, my dear. Thank you so much. All my love. Let's go to Maria. Namaste.
Hello,
Hello,
Namaste, Ananta. Thank you very much.
very well.
You, well, I want to say you and the Satsang hello and to be in your darshan and to meet this very wonderful meeting because everyone have a response to me and for all, no?
Yes.
So thank you very much. I am very happy, and I have a question that when I sit in the temple of the heart,
yes,
to be there in the silence.
Yes.
It's everything silence, it is the vastness. But who is speaking when now? Now.
So the idea that to speak I need to use the mind is a fallacy which is mind created.
Okay.
If that's the case, then the sharing of satsang would never be possible.
Okay. Okay.
When you come to meet this form in satsang with Ananta, then what you're really wanting to meet is the potential for your own heart to speak in this way. Heart to mouth instead of heart to head to mouth or just head to mouth. See? So the mind that creates this idea that for words to emerge from this body instrument, it needs to be filtered through the mind, but that is not true.
Okay. Thank you. Thank you.
Very
well. Is something knows that everything is effortless and everything is the self.
Yes.
Because there's no something the self, something not the self.
Yes.
But in the in this trying to find the ego and the spiritual ego that is that hides in one part of the person, and maybe I feel tension in me. So I think that that's not the way to find anything and to be. So thank you very much for your response. And now I feel more relaxed and that I don't have to be very sharpy to find anything, because everything is the self. Thank you very much. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Well, see you soon.
Yeah, I'm happy about this. Looking forward.
Okay. Thank you. Thank you.
Okay, let's go to Shivo.
Hello. Hello. Yeah. Can you hear me?
Yes, yes.
Okay. Yeah. I just wanted to come up and to sit in front of you and yeah. Thank you. Thank you.
Hello?
Hello,
Can,
man.
can you hear me? Hello, Ananta-ji. I really have it's been a wonderful satsang for me because I'm a lot of stirred up emotions and stuff, and I want to expose something because I don't feel like I'm such a perfect guy as I used to think.
Yeah.
And I really like this inside this nastiness. I mean, not nastiness. This spiritual ego, you know, like I don't know how to what to do. I don't know really what to do because I even like sometimes this impulse comes from the heart to say express my gratitude to you for being with me along the way and helping me. I'm thankful for this, but I have this mechanism that, oh, you're too advanced. Don't say it. Be quiet. Keep like this. This is so stupid.
Once you spot it, it loses its venom. Once you spot it, and especially once you can expose it with so much integrity, it loses its venom over you. So the mind will have to find new tricks now. So this is already very good.
Yes, because yes, like this is like coming from time to time.
Yes.
Like there is lots of I can feel that you are helping me along the way. I can feel your presence at my work even sometimes. But I know I hope it will be a short, not long. You know, this really.
Yes.
Really. I don't know what else, and also maybe I want to expose something. Like about I have sometimes addictions, like maybe not addiction to from time to time, not so often, but I would watch some you know some pornographic movies or something like that, and and this is like very, and later when I would become weak enough to indulge in some activity or something, then later I would get attacked like, oh, you failed, and get this personal, you failed, like, you know, like this. So I would just ask for your blessings to
So what I said about 1-2 punch, you were there when we were just talking about the 1-2 punch from the mind. So
yes,
it creates
I'm having these punches. I'm making these punches.
First punch. You see, it creates the first punch, and then it says, no, you should not have done that. You see, it's the 2 punch of guilt, which is more troublesome. You see? It is heavier. And like you said, actually, you spoke about pride and guilt. So both is this 2 punch. You see? Oh, I'm so good. I can be empty all the time. You see? Or something like that. I can be with God. I'm doing so well. You see? Is the 2 punch sometimes, and sometimes it is just like, you will never get anywhere. Look at you. You still have these bad habits. There's no chance. You're such a fake. You see? So
yes, how can you be spiritual?
How can you be spiritual? You see, this kind of thing. So first, let's not buy into the second punch, the 2 punch, which is about guilt and regret and pride and arrogance. You see, then grace will take care of the first one in whichever way it wants to, in the most natural way. So it would be my advice and guidance at this point.
Yes, and for the last time, I wanna be simple. I don't want to be like, because mind is taking me on the trips to say some spiritual words sometimes, or be why not be simple like this?
Yes. Why not be nothing?
Nothing. Yes. And it's like I get good pokes sometimes, like helpful. So I'm very thankful, and I would like you to help me really to make it to the end, like because like someone will poke me and say, "Oh, I saw you the other day. I saw a friend, and he said, "Oh, I saw you were so inside thought. You were so much thinking."
Mm-hmm.
And then later, my, of course, ego that has these conclusions. How
Yes.
far has it gone in the progress? And maybe some fixed, rigid, and I answered that, oh, you should have seen somebody else, not me, because I'm so, and the defensiveness mechanism, defensiveness. So I really hope that I believe that it will be soon over, like somehow, I don't know, like this. And thank you for this satsang and all these helpful people here in the Sangha.
Yes, yes.
Which I sometimes don't even have courage to appreciate because of my spiritual advanced ego.
Nice.
Thank you very much.
Very good. Thank you. Thank you for the integrity. Thank you for the honesty. Very beautiful. Touches my heart. I want to bless you that may you have no need for any self-evaluation, and may the evaluations of others may they not bother you. And if they do bother you, may they become as light as a feather. All judgments, most troublesome, of course, are the judgments that you believe from your own head about yourself. May they be all diminished. And if evaluations which poke self-image come from outside, may that also become nothing. And if at all something, then super light.
Thank you, Ananta. I don't think I have much else to say. Just thank you.
Thank you, dear. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Let's go to Jyoti. Hello.
Hello. I really wanted to raise my hand, but I don't have or don't want to say anything. Just allow my heart to speak, whatever that means.
Yes, that's the best. Are you living in God's light? And when I ask this question, I'm not looking for an evaluation or a judgment, just to prod and for it to be a reminder for this very moment. Is God's light palpable or is it hiding?
It's not hiding.
It's not hiding. The silent call of the heart is infinitely more trustable than the most glorious notions of the head. So I'm seeing that you're starting to trust this silent call and rely on it for everything. This is very good. Trust the silence of the heart requires the deepest faith, because then the mind's branch is not getting replaced by another branch which the mind can fathom. What is being communicated to you in the silence of the heart is the highest communion. Is there a message in the tears? It's very good. Let's do an experiment. Just start moving your mouth without knowing what you're going to say. Let's see what happens. Another one of those jumps. Okay, 1, 2, 3, start. You're gonna smile your way out of this one? Go for it, I'm with you. You speak my words. I give them to you in your heart. It's not a test, nothing, don't worry. We just
No, I can't speak.
let's see.
I don't have anything. Oh. No. I don't have anything to say.
Is it a bad I can't speak?
No.
Can I say something?
Yes.
Life is like a mad elephant, and you know how to tame it.
Well, I'm flying. She says the mind is like a mad elephant, and apparently I know how to tame it. It's good to spot that.
Maybe that in this moment, I just don't want to touch anything. Because even if touching something, it doesn't mean that it means something, but just I don't want to touch anything.
It's not an active aversion. It's just a natural absence of clinginess. It's a natural absence of grasping. Is it like that?
Yes.
Yes.
Maybe my face looks very sad, but internally I'm not sad.
This I know very well. This I know very well. My family used to say that to me, and I used to go to the mirror to check, like what's happening on my face right now. Yes, but thank you. Thank you for clarifying that. Very good. Let's go to Jen. Hello.
Hi, Guruji.
Hello, my dear.
About 2 days ago, I let my mind convince me that I'm in hell because a bunch of bad things were happening.
Yeah.
I'm not sure how to get back.
Achha. Can you start to notice the call within your heart?
I just...
It's okay. Take your time. I'm invoking God presence within you. And although the mind may seem loud, the world may seem crazy, just see if you can find the nearest hint of that presence. Allow yourself to fall into this. Even if the mind says, no, it's not possible, nothing is happening. The doubting mind will always come in this way. But God's presence is always with you. And safely surrender everything, past, present, and future, to your beingness, to your presence.
I feel you lifting me up.
Say again.
I feel you lifting me up. I feel like a lead balloon. Still, I feel.
Enjoy the balloonness of it and don't worry about the leadness of it. There is no balloon too heavy. All you have to do is allow it. No effort is needed from your side.
The heaviness is going. That grip is loosening.
Remember that there is no power that gives you the slightest strength in front of the presence of your Atman, of your being. That's why the mind has to work so hard to present narratives from the past and all this stuff. No matter what the content of the experience or the narrative is, fresh God is here in your heart. And there's nothing more powerful in this universe. So don't let go, don't hold on to anything at all, just let go. Have full faith in your heart that you are taken care of. And that taking care of is dependent only on your remaining unidentified in the stories of the mind. That is your only part in this play. And never let the mind convince you that you don't have this power.
weight gripped my entire body. So
It's all right. The outer expression of the body can be whatever, something released. All of that is an organic action, organic movement, which grace takes care of. Your job is to stay with your divinity, the God presence, the Sadguru presence. Don't split yourself up into two different projects. You don't have to evaluate or keep track of what's happening to the body. All you have to do is not buy into the thought and stay in your heart. Whether it is working or you're making progress is not your business. Your business is to just follow moment to moment. What your heart is guiding you to do. Look at that. I just opened my eyes and a completely different gem is in front of me.
thank you. Thank you so much.
Let's do that again. I caught only half of that expression. What was it?
I was doing this because I don't know, just
Let that body, let that release, whatever is happening, let it happen. It's all good. It's all good. Inwardly, you keep your eyes on God and everything else will work out.
thank you, Guruji. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Niti. Don't go back into any evaluative mode. Stay as if this conversation is continuing. Let's go to Shraddha.
Namaste. Namaste, Guruji.
Very good.
It's true that just one moment of presence just dispels everything. And yeah, I just wanted to come because it's been a while, and Krishna asked me for a glass of water, and I just went right at it and had about 27 lifetimes, I feel like. So it's the last time.
How long has it been since we met?
It's felt like a couple of months, and it really did feel like that, that Narada story of just get me some water, I'll be right back.
That's it.
Yeah, and then here I am, and
but I'm happy.
So something is coming forward because it does want some sort of like just absolution and return, and it's okay, forget about it.
Of course,
it's over. And it's just
yes, it's all gone.
It's all gone. I can't even experience it unless something is reaching back for it anyway. It's too much effort.
Bad at keeping track of time anyway. For me, it just feels like yesterday we were talking and now today we are talking. So just let it be like a dream that happened. It's all fine. It doesn't matter.
Thank you. Yeah.
Very good.
And I appreciate the labeling it as resistance rather than, because it's been a busy, it was a ride, and I remember once saying to Guruji, close my account.
Yes.
Close my account. And then something over the last month is like, let's just open 20 credit cards. You know, it's like the equivalent of that was just completely forgotten and distraction. And then just in your presence and in the presence of the Sangha and in my own presence, this is what's been being avoided or run from for months now. You know?
But good, 2 months. 2 months is all right. Is completely all right. So. For blessings, prayers, everything. Is that may this 2-month adventure now just anchor you in your heart so deeply. And may it all, as is the way of grace, may it all turn out to be so graceful, even this. Full love and blessings.
Thank you.
Okay, let's go to Satvi.
Hello, Father.
Hello. How are you, dear? What's happening?
Good, good. So I just wanted to thank you. Your presence, I don't know, mind had almost convinced me that the external situation is important for the internal environment. And then it just, your presence somehow led me to realize that foolishness, that external situation is nothing for the internal one.
Yes, very good. Very good. It's a beautiful report.
So the person me wanted to plan and do things in a certain way and say, okay, if this happens, then only this will happen in the internal environment. But it is not so.
It's not so. Very good.
Thank you for that, Father.
So welcome. So welcome. So strongly in my heart right now. I'm so happy. I'm so happy to hear you. It's very good. And this is a good lesson for all of us. God is not an inch away from us. Nothing needs to change in the world. Nothing needs to happen. No, the mind is postponing tactics of first that, then this, and then come to God's presence. All of that you have seen through. So I'm very happy with this.
Thank you so much, Father. Thank you so much.
So welcome. Okay, last one for the day. Let's go to BP. BP is gone away. Where the camera to you is very different from where you're watching Satsang. You're watching on a bigger screen or something.
Yeah.
That's fine.
Father,
yes.
I see that I'm not, o sea, that the mind speaks in first person, that I am not, there is
I have not any shape.
Yeah.
There is no report.
The expression is of like a 5-year-old child. It's very sweet. So. So you can remain in that innocence without any evaluation or judgment. Relax. It's all good. It's all good.
Yeah. Father, I'm not really anything, no?
Yes. Oh, that's peaceful.
I mean, nothing.
Can you notice? So what happens is that as you're at rest in your heart, then you're just like happy and smiling, and then there's an invitation from the head which wants you to make a conclusion or evaluation, and then say something like that. And then mostly you're able to just let that go, but sometimes it's a calm.
Yeah, but that's not me also, isn't it?
Yeah.
Even if it feels like I'm engaging with the mind, this I is not what I am.
Yeah, but forget all that.
Okay.
Do it better without that than with that. Just forget all that, whatever it is. It sounds very nice and fancy, but you don't need it.
Yeah.
You're better off without it. You don't have to have any scriptural words. Just the shining eyes that I see are more than enough.
Okay.
Sometimes it is the web of even spiritual sounding words which attracts us and makes us back to the sort of spiritual ideas and things. So just leave it. You're doing well. You don't have to trouble yourself. It's good.
Okay.
Your mind will complain and say, but what? So then what? Nothing. What does it mean? Yeah. Nothing. Am I free or bound? Neither. No. Am I not getting it? No. There was a request. Satyam wanted to chant the Hanuman Chalisa at the end of Satsang. You can come in here. I'll just find you. There you are. Okay.
Thank you, Father. Thank you.
Very welcome.
Thank you so
Thank
much
you. Thank you, in fact.
for allowing me to do this for you, for everyone. Just give me a sec, 1 minute, Father. I'm just fixing the tanpura a little bit.
No problem.
Shri Guru Charan Saroj Raja Nij Manu Mukuru Sudhari Varnau Raghubar Vimal Jasu Yodayuk Salchari Buddhihin तनु जान के सुमिरो पवन कुमार बल बुद्धि विद्या देहु मोहि हरऊ कले जय हनुमान ज्ञान गुण सागर जय कपीस हो लोक जागर रामदूत अतुलित बल धामा भजनी पुत्र पवन सुत नामा महावीर विक्रम बजरंगी कुमति निवार सुमति के संगी कंचन बरन विराज सुबेसा कानन कुंडल कुचित केसा हाथ ब्रज अरु ध्वजा विराजे कांधे मूंज जनेयु साजे शंकर सुवन केसरी नंदन तेज प्रताप महाजगवंदन विद्यावान गुणी अति चातुर राम काज करबे को आतुर प्रभु चरित सुनबे को रसिया राम लखन सीता मन वसिया सूक्ष्म रूप धरि स्याही दिखावा विकट रूप धरि लंक जरावा भीम रूप धरि असुर सहारे
रामचंद्र के काज सवारे, लाए सजीवन लखन जियाए, श्री रघुबीर हर्ष योग लाए। रघुपति कीन्ही बहुत बड़ाई, तुम मम प्रिय भरत सम भाई। सहस बदन तुम रोजस गावे, हस कहि श्रीपति कंठ लगावे। सनकादिक ब्राह्मण मुनीसा, नारद सारद सहित रघुवीसा। यम कुबेर दिगपाल जहाँ के, कवि गोविंद कहि सके कहाँ के। तुम उपकार सुग्रीवहि कीना, राम मिलाए राजपद दीना। तुमरो मंत्र विभीषण माना, लंकेश्वर भय सब जग जाना। युग सहस्त्र जो जन पर भानु, प्रियो ताहि मधुर पद जानु। प्रभु मुंदिका मैली मुख माई, जल दिलांति गए अचरज नाहि। दुर्गम काज जगत के जेते, सुगम अनुग्रह तुम देते। राम दुआरे तुम रखवारे, होत न आज्ञा बिनु सारे। सब सुख लय तुम्हारी शरणा, तुम रक्षक काहू को डरे। आपन तेज समारो आपे, तीनों लोक हाथ से कांपे। भूत पिशाच निकट नहीं आवे, महावीर जब नाम सुनावे। नासे रोग हरे सब पीरा, जपत निरंतर हनुमत वीरा। संकट ते हनुमान छुड़ावे, मन क्रम वचन जो गावे। पद राम तपस्वी राजा, उनके काज सकल तुम साजा। और मनोरथ जो कोई लावे, कोई न कुछ न पछतावे। चारों जुग पर ताप तुम्हारा, परिचित जगत प्यारा। साधु संत के तुम रखवारे, ऐसे निकंदन दुलारे। अष्ट सिद्धियों निधि दाता, जान राम साई तुम्हारे आशा, सदा रहो रघुपति के दासा। तुम्हारे भजन राम को पावे, जन्म जन्म के दुख जाए। अनंत काल रघुबर पुर जाई,
Very good. Thank you. Thank you all so much for being in Satsang today. Sadhguru Sri Jyoti Baba ki
Sri Ananta-Ji.
Look Keval.